Okay, everybody, Matthew here from ManyWargaming.com. I figured I'd give you some eye candy to look at while I just talk to you. We just got back from Adepticon. Well, I say we just got back. We drove back on Monday. Today's Wednesday. And I wanted to do a bit of a debrief of how it went and talk about some exciting things, and also then talk about what now I'm fully focused on now that Adepticon is over, because that was kind of a big lead up. There was a lot going into all of that. So it's not going to be a walk around video. That's why I decided to sit here, so you can, if you get bored of looking at my face, there it is. You could just look over at this beautiful old world map, which is awesome. So anyways, Adepticon was, of course, awesome. But it was awesome this year for me for a different reason. Normally it's awesome because I get to go around and meeting tons of people and play testing all sorts of different, or demoing different games and kind of getting all that in. This time we had a booth. We had one last year for Ravaged Star, but we had a bigger one this year. And we set up a big display table. We set up a couple demo tables. And then we also had some leftover product from the Veil Touch stuff from the first campaign. And so we decided, well, we'll just bring some of that just as an afterthought. Well, I was quite pleased that we were incredibly busy. It was tiring to no end. There was one other vendor I was talking to. He's like, he always says that he will be glad that they had done it. And I could feel that, because I would loved being there, but it was exhausting. And right now you can still hear my voice a little raspy. Well, yesterday it was even worse, and the day before that it was even worse on top of that. I almost lost my voice after the first day. We had brought like 8 to 10 people. And so I thought we'll set up shifts so that we don't have to work nonstop at the booth. But we all pretty much ended up working nonstop at the booth the entire time, because we were swarmed. And it's a great problem to have, right? Just a wonderful problem. I was very pleased because there was a lot of people who had no idea what Ravaged Star was, and they stopped by the booth. They saw the miniatures that drew them in. They wanted to buy them. They couldn't. We could pre-order the Space Bugs and Space Dwarves, the Gorkog and the Amari. They could buy some of the Veil Touch, and that actually sold really quickly, which almost paid for the entire trip, which was an expensive trip because we had like 10 people there, flying from all over the world, from the various companies involved in making Ravaged Star. So, and then of course hotels, and we rented a big van so we could truck everything down there, and food and Ubering and all that kind of stuff. It was an expensive trip, but well worth it, and for what it was that we were able to accomplish. So it gave me a lot of confidence, because I demoed the rules to a lot of people. Josh helped, Gaz helped. We even had like a random, I don't know what I called him, a fan or somebody who had been following Ravaged Star stuff. And they sat down, because we had one of the demo tables we weren't currently not doing demos at because we were taking a break. And this guy just sits down and starts demoing games. And that was awesome. And give him a big box of miniatures to take home. But it was awesome. He just sat there for a couple hours at least, just demoing the game, because he had learned the rules. He asked me a couple questions here and there, but honestly, nobody would know if he got things wrong because he's demoing the game. There was a lot of positive feedback. So I'm pretty confident in the rules. I think the Ravaged Star rules are really good. Obviously, I wrote them, so I would hope so, right? But I've written rules for a long time, like since I was a kid, but really, like professionally, I've been writing rules for the past 15 plus years in mini wargaming. I've been writing for narrative campaigns, and I've been DMing for a long time and doing all that kind of stuff. But it's different when all of a sudden you go and you write the rules for a game that you are then going to sell. It's like one thing to write narrative campaign rules where I only really have to make them work to a certain degree because I'm going to GM, I'm going to game master the game, so I can kind of balance it on the fly. Same thing with D&D. But writing rules for a game, that's where it can get tricky, because now you have to make sure you fill in all those details that are going to come up when hopefully thousands or tens of thousands of people play your game. And they're going to find all those nooks and crannies that you didn't think about. And obviously playtesting is to help with that, but the core rules need to be fun, and you don't know if they're going to be, just because, and on top of that, like I'm 42 years old, almost 43. I'm getting pretty old. And so sometimes you wonder, like, do I like the things that I like because it's what I grew up with, and therefore I am no longer in touch with what the majority of people would like? Like, for example, I've noticed a trend with a lot of Games Workshop games is to become with these games that fit on a small, like, kill team size mat. And I say kill team size mat because Kill Team was one of the first to do it. Warcry does it. Kill Team does it. Blood Bowl's a little bit bigger, but same idea. And that one's been out for a long time. But like Underworlds, like it's all about making these games. And I've seen other games manufacturers kind of follow that trend where they're making games that fit in a smaller place area. And I'm not a big fan of that because I play the games for the immersion of the terrain. And you can't really get that on smaller tables. I was even disappointed when like 40K came out saying, it was an 8th or 9th edition, it's like minimum table size recommendation is 44 by 60 instead of the 6 by 4. And I was like, well, no problem. It just says minimum table size. But what I failed to realize is that when the person who designs the games makes a suggestion that the majority of the people playing the game take that as gospel, that that's exactly how you have to do it. And so the game has to be played at 44 by 60. Of course, I ignore that and I play it on a 6 by 4 anyways. But that is what you do see at tournaments and a lot of things as well. And even for me, that table size was getting almost too small. Like it made sense to me from a financial point of view why they did it that way because it's 4 Kill Team mats, right? But I didn't like that. I didn't like the diminishing size of the tables. Like a 4 by 4 table was about as small as I like to go. And so I thought, well, maybe I like that, and it's just an old way of looking at things, right? I'm not hip and in the know and cool daddy-o, like all that kind of stuff, right? Or whatever the young kids say these days. I'm not jive. I don't know. Let's go. Anyways, and so there's always part of me that's like that. And just because I like it doesn't mean that a lot of people are going to like it. So when people sat down and started demoing the game, and they were, doing the token pull mechanic that randomizes who's going to go, where you only have to move the unit leader, and then you just kind of throw the rest of the guys over there just with incoherency. You don't have to measure every little thing. You only measure line of sight from the unit leader. If you're in combat, you're all in combat. Like all these things that I thought would make the game really good, and I just found that the vast majority of people agreed that they were like, "Oh, that's so good. Oh, that's so good. And that's so good." And it was a good morale boost and a good confidence booster to know that I had gotten something right. It doesn't mean that there isn't things in the game that you're not going to like or that you might hate the game, but I was more looking for, will it appeal to enough people that it can actually be a game that we sell and that goes into stores and that sticks around for longer than just a year. You don't just be a Kickstarter game, right, where it comes out one and done and then you move on. I want to be something that we support for many, many years to come. Or that then gets supported by other people, like that is something that can continue and really reward anybody who decides to really get into it. So I loved that. I loved the feedback that I got. It was, and there's always suggestions and stuff, which is great. I take that as and so that was awesome. And I just want to remind everybody for Ravaged Star that if you want to participate in playtesting, you go to miniwargaming.com/Ravaged Star. That'll redirect you to our free Discord server. And I should say public Discord server, because Discord servers tend to be free, I guess, although there might be a paid whatever. And I have all the rules posted there. I actually just updated them all today with a lot of new stuff. They're just about done. The core rules are pretty much done. But there's a few more Veil Touch characters I have to write rules for. And then it's just about play testing, balancing, and all that kind of stuff. But the game really is close to being done, which I'm quite satisfied by. But I still need feedback on balancing and last little tweaks. And it's been really satisfying to be able to come across things. I even came across stuff while demoing. And I'm like, I hadn't really thought about that. People brought things up. And so I posted on the Discord saying, hey, here's the situation. What do you guys think? And we had a good discussion about it. And then I changed the rule to kind of try something out that would make the game more fun. That was the point, because there was something that wasn't fun. And I'm like, how do I fix that? Or do I need to fix that? Because some things are just not going to always be fun, and it's not always something you can do about that. So tremendous feedback, tremendous. We were swarmed nonstop at the booth. There was only a couple moments where there would only be 5 or 10 people there instead of 15, 20, 25 people all around there. So thank you. If you were one of the people that did come by, thank you. And post a comment below. Just let me know. And if you're on our Mini Wargaming Discord, I have a place there for you to post pictures if you're willing, because I'd love to see pictures of you with selfies that you took with us, or pictures you took of the booth, anything like that. But yeah, so it was really good. And so it's okay. You can walk through.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just doing an Adepticon recap.
Okay.
just a behind the scenes video. Aaron's just walking by with stuff, but
I got work to do.
I got work to do, right? If I'm going to sit in a main area like the gaming hall, then I got to expect through traffic, whatever you call that. Anyways, now I go to switch hands, but the other hand will get in the thing. So anyway, so that was really good. So I came back nice and energized, refocused. We've even talked about the next game that we're going to create that might actually come out this fall. But it'll be like STLs and print on demand, so we can actually get it to market like right away. A skirmish-based game for Ravaged Star, which is just going to kind of leave it there because I am super excited for that. In fact, I'm more excited for that than I am for Ravaged Star, because I came into the Ravaged Star project kind of very deep into it. It's already been going for a couple of years, and it's like, okay, now I'm going to do the rules. So it's kind of fun to be at it from the beginning of the next project. We've talked about next factions, all that kind of stuff. But we got to take it easy because it's expensive and we have a lot of money tied up in this project. Once it hits retail, that's when we'll actually be able to draw some profits from it. That'll fund future projects and just, pay for existing things. Oh, and also just a quick update. So I had put out that video a while back and then reopened the lifetime Vault membership sale. I've had a lot of good feedback about that. So thank you for everybody who signed up. If you want to, I've decided to leave it open for a little longer. So if you want to get a lifetime Silver Vault membership, go to miniwargaming.com/lifetime. It'll help us because it gets us a cash injection, which allows us to invest and to keep the lights going. Because as much as the GameFound campaign for Ravaged Star did, it's like at $1.2 million. It's such a huge campaign that all that money is going towards actually fulfilling the campaign. And so, but when it hits retail, that's where we're going to actually make money. But that's not for months from now or maybe even next year. So if you want to help support us and keep everything going, keep the lights on, keep the employees fed, then becoming a Vault member is the best way to do that. Buying stuff from miniwargamingforge.com is a great way to do that. And if you want to and are financially able to, becoming a lifetime Silver Vault member, so you just pay once, never pay again, then go to miniwargaming.com/lifetime and you can do that. So, and a big thank you to the people who have already done that because it's making a big difference. And that's one thing too. I want to point this out. We're a small company, right? We're lucky to have this cool location and do awesome projects like this. But in the end, there's 10 of us. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess when the Forge has added a few new people because we need to keep the 3D printers running. And so maybe it's more like 12 or 13 of us. Still, we're a small company. So when you buy something for $100 from us, that actually it does make a significant difference. It's not like if you buy something at $100 from Games Workshop and that's going to have to go through a million different things. And by the way, that still makes a difference for them. I'm not saying it doesn't, but it makes a more noticeable difference for us. So I had people coming up and saying, I backed the campaign at this level or this level. And I actually could feel like these people were the reason I am able to do this. And it's not in just some hypothetical small way, if you're paying $5 to a huge corporation, my $18 a month to Netflix, doesn't feel like it's a huge contribution. I don't really care. I'm just buying Netflix. Not buying Netflix, but buying a subscription to Netflix. But it's different than when you're going to a mom and pop shop or to a small business. So we're still a very small business. I'm definitely not rich off of this. But I'm able to earn an income that lets me feed my 5 children, which are very expensive. They all went to the dentist today, and that was expensive. That's fun. So thank you so much. So whatever you do, if you're able to support us, if you back the GameFound, if you get a lifetime Vault membership, you just get a regular Vault membership. You buy something from the Forge. All of those things make a tremendous difference to us, and I really do want to thank you. So many people come up, they're like, yeah, I backed the campaign for this amount. Heck, I had one guy right there look at the miniatures. Somebody was talking about stuff, and then he was about to, press the button on the $1,000 pledge, which is I think pretty much everything, or one of the all-in pledges for GameFound. But before he did that, he's like, but I want to demo the game first. And he sat down and we demoed it, and then he bought it. I was just like, dude, seriously, that's freaking awesome. That makes such a huge difference. So it really does make a difference. And I hope you guys realize that. So anyways, I came back energized, ready to go. Had to clear a ton of emails, of course, and do some correspondence. But here's what's going on next at Mini Wargaming, at least what I'm working on next. In no particular order, because obviously orders change based off of when things happen. So narrative campaigns, sorry, my hand's getting a little tired. Narrative campaigns, we're going to start filming, if everything goes right, we're going to start filming a Death Watch narrative campaign next week. Me and Luca and I are going to film that. And I'm really excited about that because we're bringing in some second edition elements for the close combat, because regular close combat in 40K is kind of boring, which is fine for a big, large-scale game, but is way less interesting in a small-scale Death Watch game. If you're not sure what a Death Watch narrative campaign is, we've done a bunch of them. They've always been our most popular narrative campaigns. It's where I usually have 1 or 2 content producers who create kill teams of Death Watch that are about 5, they're 5 men strong. And I put them through almost role-play game-like missions. We do use the 40K rules, except that I totally change how the Space Marines work and make each of them level up, and they become like ridiculously powerful, and put them through a story. And they've been incredibly successful, and I can see why, because they're a lot of fun and the story's good and all of that. And so yeah, we're going to start filming that. We're going to have to film I want to film for a couple weeks before we start putting them out, because I want to make sure we get ahead. And so yeah, that'll be coming out in the next 2 or 3 weeks. We got this one right here, the Old World campaign. Now I'm waiting on a couple things before we start that. One of them is I'm working with Hexton Hills, the people who made these hexes, and we're integrating. So they have an app on their website, maps.hextonhills.com or map.hextonhills.com. I can't remember. I'll try to remember to put a link, where you can actually design the maps you're going to make, and then it can click a button that just says list, and it gives you a list of everything you need to print. But not everybody has 3D printers, and so they want to integrate with Mini Wargaming Forge so that you can make the map, and then you can choose like what size you want: 100%, 75%, 50%. Like for example, these are 50%, whereas the Age of Sigmar one that we did way back, or not way back, a few months back, was 100%. And then there's FDM or resin. And you can only really do the 100% in FDM. As soon as you go any smaller, you have to go resin. So this is like this is, just so you have an idea, this is 3,000-ish tiles at 50% resin. So that's big. It's obviously, but you don't have to do maps this big. But I love 50% resin for this because it's just, the resolution is awesome. I'll be making a video about this specifically. But anyways, we want to integrate that. And so I didn't want to like make the official video for this and launch that, the Old World campaign, until that was ready, because it's a good promotional thing. Like, hey, and if you're interested in having your own map, then you can go buy the STLs here, or go to their map app and design your own map, and then click the button and we'll print it for you. Obviously, it's not going to be super cheap because it's time consuming to 3D print that much stuff, but you can make little maps for a decent amount of, a decent price. So yeah, we have that. So I'm assuming we're on track to have all that ready in the next 2 weeks. And so it might actually start, the Old World narrative campaign might start roughly around the same time as the Death Watch narrative campaign. So the Old World ones are going to replace our regular Old World battle reports, because they are just regular Old World battle reports, but with a narrative twist to them. Whereas the Death Watch ones, sometimes we'll have to replace the 40K, only because we only have so much manpower to create all the videos that we're making. And the other narrative campaign that we're working on is Path to Glory. I put up a video about that, where they all made their war bands. A Path to Glory. So I got Steve, Luca, and Dave, and I'll be GMing the whole thing. We'll be facing off as rival warlords, chaos war bands, and trying to see who could catch the eyes of the love of their chaos god the fastest, and rise and ascend to demonhood, and basically trying to prove themselves. And it's a chaotic, no pun intended, crazy campaign that I'll be running with them. So that one we're almost ready to get going. We just have a few more things to get painted. The only reason that one might take a little longer to get going is because we have all these other ones going, but I'm going to try to get that started. So essentially you're going to get spoiled for campaigns in the near future. I'm hoping to have the Path to Glory and the Death Watch ones and the Old World ones all coming out in the next month. We'll see though, because like I said, we only have so much time we could film, because I also have to work on Ravaged Star. We have to make sure we keep coming out with Ravaged Star battle reports so we can keep playtesting that and keep promoting that as well. And then our regular 40K and Old World and Age of Sigmar and all the other games that we want to cover as well. It's a lot of work. There's a lot of stuff going on. But those are the ones that are coming up. Then I already have ideas for more narrative campaigns I want to do after that. I essentially want to make 2024 the year of that narrative campaigns came back. And we're going to see if that can really help to revitalize everybody's interest in watching those. And so at least for the next year, I'll be doing those. And then we'll kind of see what the future of mini wargaming holds, because these games that we're creating might really take off, and then it'll take more of my attention to writing rules for those and making videos about those, obviously. I can't see us stopping making 40K in Old World and Age of Sigmar Battle Report, especially because they just announced Age of Sigmar, and the next edition of that's coming out in the summer, so we're going to be hitting that up a lot. So don't worry, we're not going anywhere for that kind of stuff. If anything, if these other games are really successful and they bring in the money, then we hire more content producers, because then we can keep covering the games that we love, and then also covering the new games we love and make. And so we'll see kind of what happens there. Oh, well, I've been talking for a while here. And like I said, though, giving you some eye candy to look at, other than this handsome guy, right? But yeah, if you were at Adepticon, give me a shout out down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you and just what your experiences were, and if you hadn't managed to get a demo or not, if you took a look at our booth or not, or what you looked at, what you really enjoyed at Adepticon. I'd like to hear that in the comments. But man, I got a lot to do, so let's get at it. So thanks for watching. Happy wargaming.